Hey guys, Daniel Arison here, and I'm hanging out with Rob at Front Row Live.
What's up, guys? Rob here, Front Row Live Entertainment. I'm hanging out here in LA with Daniel Arison, and I'm excited to be talking to you, man. It's been, I feel like this year has been a big evolution for you, your music, your audience, the reach that your music has been doing. For you as an artist, like how important is that, and what kind of impact do you feel like it's had on your career?
Yeah, I mean, this year was crazy. Worked really hard on this whole upcoming album, and every song is a piece of me and tells a story, and it's kind of like putting my diary out there for everybody to see. Yeah.
Is it something that you like thought about doing? Like, did you ever consider like putting out something so personal, or like just putting out like a diary type of music to an audience, or is that something that just recently started to happen for you?
I mean, I was always involved in performing arts. Growing up, I thought I'm going to be an actor. So wasn't really the sharing feelings kind of type. But the more I wrote songs, the more I went to the studio, I wrote more and more about things that just, very personal to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel really good about it.
What was that process like for you, though? Like learning how to write for the first time, but also like learning how to express your feelings and emotions to your audience.
I mean, it's practice like everything. At first, I just wrote nonsense and a bunch of different songs, but the more I wrote, the more deep it got. And yeah, for me, it's always about the personal stuff. If I can't connect to the song, I probably won't ever release it. I won't connect to it. It has to be personal.
Now, when you say that, like, do you just scratch it completely, or do you still have it hidden somewhere that maybe eventually it'll see the light of day?
I mean, I have it. I have it. Yeah, but you won't see it probably ever.
So this year, as I mentioned, like there's been more fans, music fans, getting to know your music and getting to listen to you. So I'm curious, like, how has that kind of changed? Like, because I feel like it's scary. When you first release music, you don't know who's listening, right? And then now that you know there's so many people listening, I feel like the fear kind of gets bigger. Do you feel like that happened to you?
I don't know. It's all very weird, You sit in a studio, you write a song, and you release it. People are listening, but you don't see them. It's on the other side of the phone. It's at the end of the day, you write for yourself, and then you put it out there. People connect to it, and that's kind of amazing,
Yeah, you write for yourself. Selfish.
Yeah.
You get selfish with your music.
Selfish, yeah.
But and that's a song that's out right now that pretty much just like opened the door, that big door for an album, a body of work. Talk to me about like that creative process of Selfish, and like, did you know that you were actively writing this song when you were starting to write music?
So that song is really, really personal to me. It's based on a situation that I had with one of my best friends growing up. One day this friend came at me. We had a huge blowout, and he just screamed at me for like 2 hours saying, I don't call him, and I don't ask how he is. I don't come by his house. And at the moment, I was really, really defensive. I've been, I told him, no, I did call you. I did the effort. But it had, just few days later, I had time to reflect, go back home, and I was like, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm selfish.
Man.
And that's kind of how the whole song came to be. And
it's one thing like owning up to something on your own, but it's another thing owning up to it in song. So when you went into that writing process, how did you feel reserved when you were writing these lyrics?
I mean, I told my producer and co-writer, Lars, I told him the exact same story, and we wrote it very literal, based on this story. And I feel like I never think about the consequences of writing a truthful song in a studio. I just write it for myself.
Yeah.
and then I deal with it later. You know, it's out. I don't know. You heard the song. You didn't hear the song. I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah.
I mean, it works. I mean, some artists hide it, some artists put it out there. I mean, I guess it just depends on you.
Yeah.
That collaboration process with Lars, what was it like? How long have you guys been working together? But also, like, how do you feel that's kind of allowed you to be more comfortable in like opening up the way that you're doing
Yeah.
with this new music?
Lars is amazing. I've been working with him these past 2 years. He's one of my favorite writers to write with, just because when I go in, he knows the power of the emotional aspect of the song, and when it's personal. So we immediately just start talking. What's going on with my life? If there's something that I want to write about, we don't start writing the song before we have a clear title and a concept of a
Damn.
song. Yeah.
That sounds challenging.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Yeah.
That sounds challenging because a title can mean so many things. It can go in so many different directions.
Yeah. I mean, there were sessions not only with him, with everybody. You go in, you give it your all, but sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And sometimes, the best songs, you write them in like an hour. And it's crazy. And that's what happened with Selfish. It was just a super clear concept. And yeah, in like 4 or 5 hours, the whole song was done.
Yeah. Wow.
Kind of crazy. Yeah.
Do you feel like this song also kind of changed the direction of your voice? Maybe like the melodies that you want to kind of pursue on this upcoming album?
I feel like this whole first EP is more kind of, very self-reflection, singer-songwriter. I think this song is the first of kind of going in a more edgier direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, more songs to come.
But how does that impact your vocals? Do you feel like going edgier makes it harder to sing, or do you feel like it makes it easier to sing because it's like an alter ego that you've been trying to release, right? Like
no, I mean I'm always really just trying to be myself.
Yeah.
Not anybody else, not, sound like this or that, just be myself and write my music, write my truth.
Let's talk about that EP, because the title alone, Nostalgia, really hurts. Like that title, every time I think about nostalgia, I always think about like, oh, those were great memories. But when I see this album title or this EP title and I'm listening to the music, high school and all that stuff, like it's true. Like I've never ever considered that nostalgia could also be painful.
Yeah.
So it kind of like opened up my eyes at the same time. Let's dive in and talk about like that writing process for this. And you mentioned you write the titles first before you work on anything. So how do these other songs get in?
I mean, most of these songs really started from a title. If it's Selfish, it started from like Maybe I'm Selfish or Easier to Hate You, or the song Anything in Common, where I just literally came into my producer's studio and told him I don't have anything in common with my friends anymore. So it's really hard topics, but I feel like that's what makes it special and, personal to me. And yeah, I'm a very nostalgic person. When I get stuck looking at old photos, it's like, it's a rabbit hole. And yeah, I mean, nostalgia really does hurt.
Yeah.
When you are a nostalgic person, seeing people go out of your life and it will never be the same anymore. It's a hard thing.
Yeah. You mentioned, you no longer have anything in common with your friends. And I feel like that unfortunately will continue to grow as, you become more like, as you get deeper and deeper into your music, right? Like,
Yeah.
So how do you cope with that kind of situation where that like there's days where you're just stuck in the studio all day, or there's times where you're just on tour, or there's times where you're just like focused on finishing this album? How have you been like coping with that new way of life for you?
Yeah, I mean, these years are just crazy, when you finish high school and you start the next period of your life, people come and go out of your life, and I was and still for years like very focused on my work and also my friends, you know. So I think it's just a very it's a thing that happens probably to everybody or most people. And yeah, I mean, I think the thing that I learned from it is just, you know, change happens. The faster you deal with it and move forward, the better. You
So
know?
just release it, and whatever happens, happens. That's what that we're going back to that. Now that, you know, music's out now. You're working on this body of work. Like, for those new listeners, new fans that you're currently having, like, what can they look forward to as far as like you as a person, but also you as an artist?
Just a bunch more personal songs, a lot of more personal songs, more ballads, and yeah, I mean, I started with the first EP with also the visuals and the music video, so the same kind of narrative is gonna still keep on going for the next EP, the whole album. I'm a very visual guy, so every song that I write about, which is like super personal, I can immediately like see the video in front of me. So that's also really important for me to show what I went through and what I see in this song, you know? Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how you separate the singer-songwriter, the producer, the actor,
Yeah.
the emotional guy. Like,
Yeah.
Do you think about this stuff when you're creating your music? Like, do you think about these different types of like alter egos or characters that you have?
Not so much, just because you know, I think everybody has few kind of sides of their personality. So when I write a song, I always try to just stay very, you know, authentic to me. And if it's that, it's good, you know. I don't want to be boxed to like one single thing. And so yeah, I mean, I can do the singer-songwriter, I can do a bit more pop rock, but it's all me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I guess to close this off, since Selfish is out now, during either the writing process or just like the recording process of this song, or even now that more people are listening to it, like, what do you think that this song or the experience of this song really taught you as a human being?
That we're all human. We all make mistakes, and it's okay. And you know, it's also okay sometimes to be selfish, you know?
Yeah.
You grow up and you please a lot of people, and you want to be there for your parents and friends and your siblings or whatever. But at the end of the day, you got to do what's right for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. So you guys be sure to check out Selfish. And, you know, I can't wait for new music from you.
Yeah. Thanks.
And thanks for watching here on Front Row Live.
Thank you so much.